Hi friends, it's Lethea from Farmview Creators. Today we're going to work on the Merry Christmoose from the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina. This project is adorable. I think I'm in love. This cute little moose just turned out so sweet. So I'm just taking all my pieces and I am sorting them on my sticky board based on what color I'm thinking about painting them. I'm going to take the sign base and I'm going to use a sponge dauber and just give it a coat of that Van Dyke Brown antiquing glaze. This is semi-gel stain, and now I'm going to go in with FolkArt Cardinal Red. This is a really beautiful red. I'm not sure what happened with this bottle though. It is super duper thin, which actually works out because I don't have to worry about it filling in the score lines, but I don't know if that's normal for this color or what, but it's gorgeous anyway. So I'm going to put 2 layers of that. I'm doing it on the backboard and the cardinal and one of the sign pieces and the berries. And it's just a really rich, kind of deeper red, I guess. Set that aside and give it my second coat. I'm getting his scarf. There are score lines on the scarf, so we'll work on those later. Thought about painting every other section on the scarf, like a 2-color pattern, but I decided I just wanted to kind of trace those score lines. I'm just giving everything a second coat, and then moving on, we're going to use Basil for our trees. So I am going to use a paintbrush and hit the holly, and then I'm going to get the trees with that. And just giving that a good coat. The very back piece, you will see the trees on the right and the left side, so I'm giving that a coat. I'm going to hit that very bottom little strip that's going to go into the insert. It's not going to be visible, but I just like for it to have that finished look. I don't want to leave any part of it unfinished. So I will go back after everything dries and just kind of stain the backside with Van Dyke Brown, giving everything another layer just to make sure it is nicely coated and even. Such a pretty green. I love green anyway, so. And then giving that backboard another layer. This is a mineral acrylic from Couture. The mineral acrylics have a little bit of a shine to it, kind of like a satin paint. It does have a top coat built in, and it gives fuller coverage. So now I'm going to go in with DecoArt Buttercream. This is part of their Americana series, and I'm just using a sponge dauber to get my snowflakes and the words, and I'm going to get another one of those sign pieces. Just trying to make sure that I have good coverage on both layers of the buttercream. Just kind of rubbed it across the signpost, but it did kind of go into some of my words, so I'm just scraping those out so that you can actually read them. And I kind of got a little buttercream on my berry, so I had to fix that. Now we're going to go in with FolkArt, and this is in the color Barnwood. I love this kind of muted taupey brown. It's just really pretty. And I'm going to get his antlers and his nose. And we'll put 2 coats on that. Getting that second coat of that buttercream while that Barnwood dries. Getting all those snowflakes. I won't do a second coat on the word sign just because I want it to kind of have a distressed and more worn look to it. On the moose's antlers, you do have to kind of be careful where it meets his head because that is going to be visible. There's no like top piece for his face, only his nose. And I'm going to go in with Autumn Sage. This is chalk style paint, and I'm using my little dauber to kind of brush it across one of the signs, and then I'm going to use it as an accent on the edges of any piece that I painted green. I decided to do the signpost or the sign in that because I wanted it to have some contrast with the trees, because you can see the score lines there. It is going to lay on top of those basil trees, so it didn't need to be basil, but I wanted to keep with the same color scheme. And now we're going to go in with another DecoArt Americana color. This is Mississippi Mud. It is just a rich brown, reminds me of brownies. And I'm going to get my mousse's body with that. Now I'm going to go in with my champagne glaze. This is just a clear glaze that has just a little bit of a kind of beigey shimmer to it, and I'm brushing that across all of my buttercream pieces to give it some shine. And then doing that second coat of the Mississippi Mud. And then I'm going around the edge of his muzzle and antlers with that Mississippi Mud. I got a little too much on there, so I just used a baby wipe to kind of wipe that back. And then I am going to add my stripes on the scarf with that same buttercream. And I'm just using a very fine point round brush. And this is a dotting tool that I found on Amazon. Another affiliate for Christina's used them in their video, and I really like them. You have more conformity to your dots than just using the end of a brush. So it comes with, gosh, probably like 14 different sizes of dots, and I just chose the one that I thought would work the best for the size I was looking for. And I'm using the buttercream to add dots onto those trees, and I kind of did them widespread. And on this backboard I am putting my dots much closer, and just kind of making my triangles as I go. And I am horrible at straight lines and spacing, so some of those lines are a little closer than others, but it's okay. It's handmade, hand painted. It's all good. And now I am going around the edges of that moose body that was Mississippi Mud. I'm using the barn door to distress it, and I'm going to use my Posca pen in black to get his eyelids and eyelashes. I said this was a girl, but my husband said that if it has horns, it's a boy, so whatever. And then I thought I was going to use Vera at the ballet for the cheeks, but they ended up just not being right. So I wiped that off, and I decided to go in with the champagne, and I like that much better. It's just more subtle. And you know, I love my Debi's DIY dark wax, so I'm going to go around and distress the pieces that I've already distressed with a complementary color. I only hit lightly. The other pieces, I kind of hit them as I would normally. And then I wanted to make sure I forgot the beak. So I did that with the buttercream. And then I wanted to make sure everything was really dry. So I used my heat tool, and I dried for a lot longer than it looks. Now I'm going to go in with my dead flat top coat. I really wanted to make sure that my dots were dry, because in the past I've kind of been impatient, and when I went to put on my dead flat, I've smeared some of my dots, and I did not want that to happen with this project. So I really made sure that I had it really dry. Just getting a coat on everything that takes out all the shine other than the champagne shimmer, and it gives it a layer of protection, making sure all of that is dry. And now I'm taking my pieces off and laying them where they are going to be, just to make sure that I am happy with how everything is turning out before I glue it. And you know, it's hard to fix once you glue. So just kind of checking how it goes before I get to that point. At this point, I can still take a piece and sand it off and start again if I need to. Just really strategically placing those snowflakes, trying to figure out how I want them. And then I'm going to go in with my art glitter glue and glue the berries. And then I decided I would go ahead and put those snowflakes on before I forgot where I wanted them. And then I started building the kind of sign there, and then went ahead and got that glued down. There are score lines on that backboard that show you exactly where that goes. And then because this is 3 layers, I really wanted to make sure that I lined up those antlers correct. And then glued those all together. And then his scarf and the holly. Oh, so cute. And now I am getting those letters on there. The score lines are very apparent on here, especially because that red was so watery. It didn't kind of cover up those score lines. So that was super easy. I love, love, love how it turned out. How cute. So I put it in both of my window boxes. Which one do you like the best? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I hope you like and subscribe. Bye.